Hi everyone, welcome to Money Page where we decode the mindset of money. In this video, we are going to be looking at three-letter words that do appear on many employee payslip in the UK. Why are we looking at this three-letter word? First of all, what is this three-letter word? Before we will look at why are we looking at it this time. The three-letter word are NIC. NIC stands for National Insurance Contribution. I know that you are familiar with this National Insurance Contribution, and in many employee payslip, you always see Employee National Insurance, and also you also see another one that is Employer National Insurance. That is, both you and your employer are the one paying this money. You pay your own part, and your employer also pay his or her own part. Now, what is this national insurance for? Okay, let me first of all clear this perception that many people have on this national insurance. They always see it as another form of tax apart from the normal payee tax. That is the main reason for this video, to clarify that it is not another form of tax. It is actually a contribution that you are making towards the UK State Pension Fund, and after you have met some certain condition, you now be qualified to be receiving a payment from the UK government every month. We'll look at those conditions you will need to meet in a short while before you start receiving payment from the UK government. As I said, many people are seeing it as another form of tax. It is not another form of tax. It is a contribution that many employees are contributing into the UK state pension that the UK government will later use to pay some certain people that are in the past contributed into this pension fund. Hence, you as a contributor now, in the future, when you meet the condition to qualify to be receiving this payment, you will also be receiving yours. As I said earlier, the main reason for this video, by the time I put those other conditions on the board, we will look at them, then we will begin to see the main reason for this video. The first condition we will look at is what they call qualifying years. Then the second one we'll look at is state pension age. Then the third one is compulsory application form. Those are the three things we are going to look at. The number one is qualifying years. What does this stand for? This simply means that there's a number of years you need to contribute into that state fund before you will be qualified to also be receiving from that state pension. Now, the minimum number of years is 10 years. This comes one of the main reasons for this video, because as many people have already taken the NI to be another form of tax, they are not going to take cognizant of the number of years they have already been contributing this money, because they have already zeroed their mind that this is a form of tax. You know, when you pay tax, you are not going to get direct benefit from it except indirect benefit. For instance, the tax you pay, they use it for security, your environment is secure, you are safe. They use it for making good roads, schools, and so many other basic amenities that you enjoy. That is indirectly. But this contribution will qualify qualify you in the future to directly receive payment from the UK government. Since many people have already seen it as a task, they are not going to follow up on the number of years they have actually been contributing to this fund. Hence is the reason for this video, that you should change that orientation that you are, that it is a task, to it is a contribution that you will benefit from in the future. Now that you know that, it is easy for you to be conscious of the number of years you have been contributing to this state pension, so that in the future you too will benefit from it. Take for instance somebody that have worked for 9 years, and in this period of 9 years the person have been contributing into the state pension, and the person never knew that it is into the state pension, but it is seeing it as a task that he or she is being tasked. Now if the person has worked for that 9 years and the person decide to resign from the job, probably you want to start up his own business, that person is not going to qualify because it has stopped contributing at year 9 and it is remaining 1 year. Because this person is not aware of it, that is why he stopped contributing, and that 9 years will now look as if it has been wasted. But if the person that has spent 9 years had this information, he will want to continue to contribute till 10 years, so that he will meet that third condition of qualifying years, which is a minimum of 10 years. Let's look at the second condition, which is state pension age. What that simply means is that there is a certain age you will get to before you will start receiving that payment. If you have met the first condition, which is the qualifying years, you have already contributed for 10 years or even above, but you have not gotten to a certain age, you are not going to be receiving any money from the UK government. But immediately you attain that state pension age, then you will be qualified fully to be receiving payment from the UK government. Currently, the state pension age is 67 years. If you are 67 years and you have met the first requirement, which is the qualifying years, that means you are supposed to start receiving payment from the UK government. Now, the number 3, although this number 3 per se is not a condition, but if you look at it in another way, it's also a condition, because if you don't complete an application form online, you are not going to automatically to be receiving money from the UK government. You need to compulsorily complete an application form. That is, you need to compulsorily fill an application form notifying the UK government that you have met the 2 requirements for you to qualify to be receiving payment from the UK government. That is when you are going to be receiving payment. It is never going to be automatically that you have met the requirement for the number 1 condition, you have met the requirement for the number 2 condition, automatically you will now start receiving payment. No, it is not going to be so. You have to compulsorily fill an application form so that the UK government will be aware that you have met that 2 other conditions. That is when you will start receiving payments. Now, the qualifying years, we have only looked at the minimum years, which I said it is minimum of 10 years. That you must have contributed a minimum of 10 years. But the maximum number of years is 35 years. The reason for this is that 35 years qualify you to be receiving the full payment. It is very simple and understandable. Somebody that have contributed for 10 years and somebody that have contributed for 20 years, 30 years, 35 years, they are not supposed to be receiving the same amount. Now, the maximum year is 35 years, and the full amount for that number of years, that 35 years, is £234.7. Let's see how it is being calculated, especially when your qualifying years is between 10 and 35 years. The full amount is £234.7. This is the full amount you are going to be receiving every week. And you know we have 4 weeks in a month. If you multiply this amount by 4, you will know the amount you are going to be receiving every month. This full amount, you only qualify for it if you have contributed for the maximum number of 35 years. If we multiply it by 4, you will see we are going to have, let me use my calculator here, 234.7 times 4 will give us 938.8 pounds. This is the amount you are going to be receiving every month if you have contributed for the maximum number of 35 years. Now, if your qualifying year is between 10 and 35 years, they will prorate this 234.7 pounds per week. They will prorate it and use the number of your qualifying years to multiply it. Then you will know how much you are going to be receiving every week. Let's quickly see some number between 10 years and 35 years. Let's assume you have contributed for 15 years. Divide by the maximum number of years, which is currently 35 years. Then you multiply it by this amount. Then let's do it. 15 divided by 35 years times 234.7. That will give us 100.59 pounds. This is pounds. This is what you are going to be receiving every week. When you multiply 400.59 pounds, you are going to have about 402 point something pounds. That is, you have for a month 402 point, let's just say, 1 pounds. This is what you are going to be receiving every month if your qualifying years is 15 years. Now, the contribution that you are making every year via your payslip, the amount does not matter for you to be qualified. What matters for you to be qualified is the qualifying years, which is a minimum of 10 years, and you have attained the state pension age. That is what makes you to be qualified. Then, for you to be receiving that money, you need to compulsorily make an application to the UK government so that they will know that you have already qualified. At this moment, I would like to disclaim that this video is not a financial advice. Rather, it is for information and educational purpose only. If you have gained from this video today, please, why not subscribe to this channel so that whenever I drop a video of this kind, you will be among the first people to see it. God bless you. Bye.